Hey everyone, it's Kyle with the Case and Kyle team at Royal LePage, and today we are going to look at the market update for the month of June. We're going to compare 2021 to 2022, and we're going to look at some of the more recent changes in the market and how this all impacts you. Let's jump into the numbers. So starting in Hamilton, we saw the average sale price go from $785,000 up by 10.3% to $865,000. So once again, increase year over year, but not as much as earlier this year. And we actually saw it go down a little bit more again since the previous month. And the months of inventory went from 0.8 months of inventory up to 2.6 months of inventory. So this is a massive jump. We saw a big one last month up to 1.7, but we're all the way up to 2.6 this month. So we're continuing to see inventory levels rise as we get closer to a balanced market. All right, let's look at Burlington. We saw the average sale price go from $1,151,000 up by 9.6% to $1,262,000. So once again, much like Hamilton, year over year, the increases are smaller, but what's different from Hamilton and Burlington is we actually saw the month over month numbers increase. So we're slightly higher than we were last month. So this is something we're going to have to continue to monitor to see if it continues or if the prices go down. We'll talk about this a little bit more later on. We saw the months of inventory go from 0.7 months of inventory up to 2.6. So like Hamilton, massive jump, but even month over month again, went from 1.3 to 2.6. So much more inventory on the market for buyers. Okay, now we're going to finish off with Oakville. We saw the average sale price go from $1,546,000 down by 2.4% to $1,509,000. So this is the second month in a row where we've actually seen year over year numbers drop. And we're continuing to see this. So it's not just 1 month anomaly, but we're actually seeing it 2 months in a row. So what this means is because the price points in Oakville are higher than what you see in Burlington and in Hamilton, the prices are impacted to a greater degree than what we see in Burlington and Hamilton because there's more people who can afford those price points. So these are the numbers that are impacted first and why we've seen a greater decrease in Oakville compared to the other two cities. Now, month over month, we are actually up. So like Burlington, we've seen the average sale price go up since last month. So once again, something we want to monitor to see which way it's going to go. Obviously, with the increase in interest rates, that will have an impact, which we'll talk about a little further, but that's something to keep our eye on. The months of inventory we saw go from 0.9 up to 2.4 months of inventory. So very similar to the other two places is that we've seen it increase year over year by a substantial amount and month over month because we saw it go from 1.7 to 2.4. So what do all of these numbers mean? So there's a lot of numbers that I've shared like I do every month, but it's important for us to understand what this means and kind of where we're going. So from a buyer's perspective, it's very similar to what I said last month. Once again, the showings are a little down from where they were a few months ago. So the number of showings that are happening across all the listings, but the number of listings is way up. So the number of showings we have on each and every property is quite a bit less than what we've seen even a few months ago. So this is important for you to know as a buyer because you're going to be facing a lot less competition because first of all, people are sitting on the sidelines because they're waiting to see what happens in the market, as well as there's way more listings and less showings. So those showings are now being spread out. More listings and less showings results in much fewer competition. So it's a great opportunity to try to take advantage of this now. And there's some people who are actually have bought a property and really need to sell their home. So this is something that you can take advantage of in this time because it's a very unique time where we've seen the market transition. So if you are looking for a deal or want to try to get more money off the price, it might be a good opportunity to do so because someone is forced to sell. Now, this is not an opportunity that will last forever because we're starting to see that people are moving through this transitional period. And once that is over, then we'll be adjusted to whatever the new market conditions are. So sellers, what this means for you is if you're currently selling or you're thinking about selling, you have to be aware that your house can sit on the market longer than what it would have previously. So before, it was a few days, Now it might be a couple weeks or even a couple months. So this is something you have to be aware of, and be sure to look out for your neighborhood's months of inventory, because we've noticed that there are differences between different neighborhoods and different pockets. So this can have an impact on how quickly your home will sell. So this is something to be sure to talk about with your real estate agent. So finally, where are prices going? We are seeing them continue to drop, in some places stabilize a little bit. So it really depends on the area. But as we hear, interest rates are going to continue to probably rise. We saw the US increase it by 0.75%, and we're probably going to see a similar rate hike here in Canada, which is quite a large jump. And this is something that is going to continue to impact prices. So if we continue to see more and more rate hikes after this, we're going to see prices continue to come down. But if we see maybe this one and maybe one other rate hike, I think what we're going to start to see is a stabilizing of the prices. So it really depends on what the Bank of Canada decides to do, and ultimately what happens with inflation, because that is the point of them continuing to increase the interest rates. So this is something we are going to have to monitor over the next few months to actually get an answer, and why it's very difficult to time the market, whether you're a buyer or a seller. So this is something to keep in mind throughout the process. I believe that it will start to stabilize in the next few months, and which we might actually start to see already in Oakville and Burlington, but we'll have to continue to monitor it. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all future market update videos. Follow us on Instagram at Case and Kyle Team, and on Facebook at Case and Kyle, and I will talk to you next time.